Hi guys, Paul here. And before you ask, yes, my dogs should be in this video. And yes, I tried. I tried for so long. In fact, it's the reason I didn't get a Monday video out. They were having none of it. And I can't film them without their consent. No, literally every time I tried to film with them to do this, they literally ran away, found something else to do. So they weren't having it. So here I am back at the desk. Welcome. So over in this corner of booktube, everybody's too cool for book tags. They're cool cats. Well, it took me a minute to remember. I'm a dog. Dog likes to have fun, and so I'm gonna do some tags. I'm gonna make up my own tags, and I'm going to try to do this for a few weeks and just make up some and see what happens. So, and today I'm doing the dog tags. See what I did there? And we're going to have 9 prompts because Canine. See, I'm clever. Anyway, so I'm going to lay out a set of prompts and that are dog related and fill it up with a book that might be associated with that prompt. If you know book tags, you know how this works. So I have a list because my memory is as bad as everything else. So number 1, the Playful Pup. Name, show, talk about a light-hearted, fun book that you enjoy. Well, I was going to go with this one for the K1 prompt. I was going to go with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I thought, you know what? That's too easy. I don't really like humor. There's very few books that I enjoy that are humorous or meant to be humorous, that are intentionally trying to be humorous. So this was a little too obvious since it's probably my favorite humorous book. So I'm going to skip that. And in the spirit of Halloween, I am going to talk about Norman. Yes, that's right. Norman. I am 8 years old and I kill people. And yes, this is a light-hearted, fun book, believe it or not. In fact, there's actually 3 of them in the series. This is done by Stan Silas. And it's A is for arterial spray. B is for blood-soaked. C is for corpses. Norman, 8 years old, blonde-haired elementary school psychopath. Looks so cute while burying his eviscerated friends in the sandbox. This is very much black humor. It's very much just for fun. It's silly. With him along with his very upset, stressed out teacher who spends more time with a bottle of alcohol than with her classroom of kids, and the bully of the play yard, Grace, who herself is a bit of a killer, but for entirely different reasons. This is just fun, goofy, meant to be lighthearted, black gallows humor book. And yeah, it's, as far as humor goes, it's hard for me to associate with a lot of humor. And it has to be more sarcastic or, more dark for me to actually appreciate it. This is hilarious, and this does it for me. So this series of books, graphic novels, would be my Playful Pup prompt. Norman by Stan Silas. And it works well for Halloween. I had to do something for Halloween season, right? All right, prompt K2. The Pill in the Peanut Butter. A book you thought was going to be good, that you were waiting for, that you wanted to read, but you hated once you did. And since it's here and it's on my mind and I just did a review for it, for me, that's going to be Tim Lucas's Throat Sprockets. Again, it's supposed to be horror, so it fits this Halloween season. And it's not horror. It's not really anything except misery in a book. I hated this so much, and I had been looking forward to it, literally looking for this book for years, and I finally found it. And maybe my anticipation made it worse, but It was nothing like I wanted. It was supposed to be a vampire book. It's supposed to be this fun, sexy romp about a guy who got addicted to vampirism through an erotic movie he saw. And it's some dumb ad agency guy who ends up being obsessed with necks and talks like he's in an Italian art film. Yeah. So my pill in the peanut butter for now is going to be this, because I think it's one of the most disappointing reads, at least in my recent memory, I've had. So that's definitely my K2 pill in the peanut butter. Number 3, K3. Puppy Dog Eyes. What is a book that you love that pulled on your heartstrings? What, made you feel something, made you emotional? Again, for me, this isn't something that happens a lot. I don't get, too emotionally involved in a story or with the characters. So, but I do have to think I'm going to go with a classic, S.E. Hinton's Outsiders. I've read this book probably 8 times. I read it every year in high school, and after high school, I kept going back to it and reading it again. It's one I forget about when I'm talking about my favorite books, but I do love it. It's fantastic, and I love this edition. Yes, it's a Barnes & Noble special edition, but if we don't have each other, we don't have anything. And how deep this book is, how emotional this book is, still always gets to me. The story of these kids and how I can relate to their feelings and being outsiders, it always gets to me every time. Like I said, I've read the book I think 8 times, and every time if I go back and read it again, it'll still pull on my heartstrings. So that'll be my K3 Puppy Dog Eyes. So let's go on to number 4. Loyal Companion. That's K4. Now, we all know that dogs are man's best friend, and we get a dog that fits our personality. We try to get a dog that complements us and makes our life better. So what character in fiction do you think would actually complement you? What fictional character could you bring into your life and complement your life and your personality? For me, this is kind of a deep cut. Now, I was going to say, being the barbarian that I am, Red Sonja, because who doesn't love a muscle-bound, sword-wielding redhead? But I think I'll save that one for another more romantic prompt at another point, because, yeah, I do love her, but to complement my personality, to be the companion that I could hang out with, I'm going to go with Carter Brown's Ale Wheeler. Ale Wheeler is a detective who is a sarcastic, fun-loving, bourbon-drinking smartass who is great until you get him mad, and then he'll show you what. And I think that me and him could hang out, and he definitely complements who I am as a person and my personality. I'd love to just hang out with Ale Wheeler, have a shot of bourbon, and he's just a fun-loving guy who wants nothing more to sit down with the bourbon and talk to the ladies. And I think Ale Wheeler, Carter Brown's detective here, I think that would be a great loyal companion as far as fictional character goes. Nothing beats a dog, but if I had to pick a person or a fictional character, this came to mind. K5, Chasing Your Tail. What book do you repeatedly and inexplicably keep going back to? Especially if you don't know why, but for some reason you keep being drawn back to the same book over and over in your life, even if it's just to, read a passage from or to look at on the shelf, whatever the reasoning. What is your Chasing the Tail book? For me, it's William Gibson's Neuromancer. I've read this book multiple times, and every time I read it, I don't even remember anything about it. I don't know why I'm going back to it. I love the opening line. I love the atmosphere of the book. Half the time I don't know what's going on. I just love being in that world. And I keep chasing my tail, going back and jumping back into this world and trying to make sense of it. And I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with this book, and yeah, so I just keep going back in. Neuromancer by William Gibson. It's a good book that makes no sense to me. I don't know. All right, let's go on to K6. Go Walkies. What fictional place would you like to just take your canine companion and go walking in? Now, I thought about this, and I considered, common, easy ideas like the Shire. Who wouldn't want to walk through the Shire? Or walking through the ruins of Osgiliath in Middle Earth. But it's popped into my head that what I would love to do is take a canine companion or 5 and walk through the Forgotten Realms. Just walk Faerun, and yes, I understand that it came from a board game or a role-playing game. It came from Dungeons and Dragons, but there are over 300 books written to take place in that fictional world. And of course, when I tried to do this video, they're all upstairs, so I'll put a picture of something over here. I really just want to put on my leather armor and my backpack and get a pack of dogs and walk from Icewind Dale to the Shining Sea and just experience everything that world has to offer. I've spent so much of my life in it since I was a teenager, playing games there. It's my favorite realm in D&D, and I've read so many of the books, which I really would love to get back to. And I would just love to walk through that world, because if you've spent any time in it as a player, as a gamer, it is just absolutely probably the most exciting, most filled out world that I could even imagine. And so if I had to choose, yep, I want to go into the Forgotten Realms and Faerun and walk from the mountains to the sea. So that'd be K6, Go Walkies. I know I'm ridiculous. I'm sorry. K7, He's Got Fleas. What is the most irritating character that you've ever had to read? What character in a book you read, a fictional character, just irritated you so much that you could barely stand it? And bonus points if you actually finished the book. For me, that would be Rachel Watson from the book A Girl on a Train by Paula Hawkins. That may be the only book I ever hate read to the end. I did finish it, and I could not stand the main character so much. I despised her so much. She was the most irritating character I've ever read, especially as a point of view character. She was a divorced, recovering alcoholic who spent her entire time, from your point of view, doing nothing but whining and complaining and just being completely self-absorbed and irritating. I have never spent so much time in the head of a character that I could not stand. And like I said, I did finish it. And the reason I finished it is because I hate read it, hoping I'd get to the end and maybe she'd be offed. That her ex-husband or whoever the killer was would finish her off. Now, understand it's a fictional character. I do not wish harm on any other real-life human being, with very few exceptions. This is a fictional character, so no panty bunching. But I could not stand her. Literally the most irritating. I still think about this. I read that book when it first came out, and I'm still irritated every time I think about her. Just talking about her now, I'm literally getting the heebies. I've never wanted to strangle a character so much in my life. And I've read the Harry Potter books and the Game of Thrones books, so you know the characters there that probably deserve it. And I've read Robin Hobb's books, so Regal, probably another one of the most horrible characters ever written, but at least they weren't as irritating as this. K8, Best in Show. Simple enough. What is your favorite canine? Could be wolf, could be dog. Canine companion, canine character in a book that you can think of. For me, that would be Miles from the Nicholas Sansbury Smith series Helldivers, the companion to Xavier Rodriguez science fiction military sci-fi book where they dive down to a contaminated, destroyed Earth to get supplies. He gets stranded there, and he manages in book 1.5, the novella actually, to find and release a dog, a husky in this case. So of course that's bonus points. That was trapped in suspended animation till the world could be better, and was released, and they became fast friends through the books. And I put that series away, and because I was trying to make room for other things, and I really got back to it. I really got to get back to it because it's fantastic. I love the series. I was having a good time with it, and I do want to go back to reading it. So yeah, that's the Helldiver series by Nicholas Sansbury Smith, and that's Miles the Husky. And Canine, which would be Pick Your Pack. So this is where you traditionally tag other people you want to do this tag. And I'm going to say right off before I even go any further, it's going to be Steve Donahue first because he's always saying nobody tags him and he loves dogs. And so I'm going to tag, every time I do a tag, he's going to be the first tag because then he gets to do tags. And if he doesn't, I get to say, hey, nobody ever tags you and you didn't do it. So now he's kind of put the pressure on him and putting him on the spot. So Steve Donahue is definitely going to be one. How about Kevin Toll? He likes tags. I'll tag him. Garage Geek. Jeff's Cave of Cool Books. Wild Digest. Excuse me, there was technical difficulties. And anybody else I can think of, I will tag in the description, in the where the tags go. And if anyone else wants to do it, just tag me back and feel free to. And if anybody else on this end of booktube wants to do it, that'd be very cool. All right, guys, that's the first tag I've ever made up. Hope it went well. Thank you. If it didn't, I don't know if I want to know. But yeah, so I'm going to put tags in. And appreciate you showing up. Let me know what you think. And like I said, feel free to tag. Feel free to put in your 2 cents. Feel free to comment however you want to. And thank you for being here. Remember, the secret to Zen: read books, pet dogs, and listen to metal. Thank you guys. Later.